I come here tonight and plead with you. Believe in yourself and believe that you're somebody. And as I said to the group last night, nobody else can do this for us. No document can do this for us. No Lincolnian Emancipation Proclamation can do this for us. No Kennysonian or Johnsonian Civil Rights Bill can do this for us. If the Negro is to be free, he must move down into the inner resources of his own soul and sign with a pen and ink of self-assertive manhood his own Emancipation Proclamation. Don't let anybody take your manhood. Be proud of our heritage. As somebody said earlier tonight, we don't have anything to be ashamed of. Somebody told a lie one day. They couched it in language. They made everything black, ugly, and evil. Look in your dictionary and see the synonyms of the word black. There's always something degrading and low and sinister. Look at the word white. It's always something pure, high, and clean. But I want to get the language right tonight. I want to get the language so right that everybody here will cry out, yes, I'm black, I'm proud of it, I'm black and beautiful.
I just finished reading a book called Race and Liberty. I think it's by the Independent Institute, and it was basically on the history of classical liberalism, and it's pretty interesting. A lot of the points they make in the book are really good, but the point I'm trying to make is it's taught me a lot about the history of liberalism and race, and it's also changed my perspective on the people claiming to be classical liberals on the subject of race today. For this video, I'm going to be calling them neo-classical liberals. Now, even though I have a lot of issues with how actual classical liberalism handled the issue of race, I find it even more problematic with the way that neo-classical liberals deal with race today. A common theme that one hears from self-identified classical liberals and conservatives on YouTube is the idea that racial preferences, or race-based laws, or race-based politics, no matter their purpose or effect, are inherently wrong. However, without addressing the argument itself with counter-arguments, I would like to point out some internal inconsistencies. The argument is made based on the history of racial collectivism in this country, and how it, along with race-based legislation, have been used as a tool to subjugate others. However, the history of this country also shows that the dynamics of racism changes across time and space. Thus, the methods for fighting it must change as well. Not only that, it's advocated for under the pretense that it violates individual freedom and equality. No evidence or adequate justification is ever given to support the idea that we actually live in a society with equality of opportunity. Furthermore, it makes little sense to advocate for the idea that we should put the individual over the group in the spirit of collective racial equality, especially when this supposed individual freedom comes at the expense of efforts toward progress for the group. Neoclassical liberals are so stuck on opposing racial preferences, or what they call racial preferences, for the sake of equality, that they are willing to gloss over the fact that equality has not actually been achieved. One cannot claim to be for equality, but only advocate for it when race-conscious efforts to achieve it are being put forth. Finally, classical liberals cannot be for the equality of racial groups, but also be for the absolute freedom of the individual. When individual freedom and self-concern come to dominate the thinking in societies, it always comes at the expense of the larger group. or at the expense of various subgroups. The social disparities that are brought forth as a result of this self-concern come at the expense of the individual, thus undermining both the individual and the group. Neoclassical liberalism, at least when it comes to race and possibly gender, is a self-defeating ideology. It's a self-defeating ideology that once held a lot of merit because its alternative, blatant white supremacy, was no better. However, in a world where injustices occur, despite the widespread adoption of these ideals, such ideas no longer serve an important function and merely serve to perpetuate oppression by placing the blame on a mass of randomly coordinated, socially unaffected, and mentally isolated individuals, rather than the structural forces at play, as well as foster a sixth sense of apathy.